I'm Miss Desroches. I'm a school counselor here at the high school. This is my 4th year here, so I joke that I am a senior.
How long have you been working at the high school?
So my 4th year here, and then I did a practicum at another school, so I guess kind of overall like quasi 5th year as a school counselor.
Mm-hmm. So what is your favorite part of working at the high school?
Well, it's kind of cliche, but the students. I love seeing students every day. I have a really good bunch of kids, and I love helping them on their journey, whether it's to college, a job outside of school, also just being there to support them emotionally and help them get through this crazy time of high school.
And can you kind of explain your career path that led you to Westboro?
So, I did my practicum at the high school I actually went to, which was funny. And then, after that, I spent a whole summer applying for jobs. It's not fun, doing interviews, and it just so happened that Miss Adams was out on leave, and I was able to take over as her long-term sub for a year. And then from there, I was hired on full-time, and I've been here ever since. So this was my first job, actually, out of grad school.
And if you don't mind, where did you go to college and stuff?
So for undergrad, I went to UConn, the University of Connecticut, and then for my master's, I went to Assumption University in Worcester.
And why did you choose to be a guidance counselor?
So my path to becoming a school counselor was, I don't want to say unconventional, but when I was in high school, that was not my goal. When I graduated high school, I started college as an actuarial science major. If you don't know what that is, it's a lot of math. And I really struggled with it. It was not obviously the major for me, because quite clearly I am here. But one of my best friends from high school ended up going to UConn with me. And one day she told me, she goes, "You don't like this. You should really consider switching majors. Have you ever heard of the Human Development and Family Studies classes?" I was like, "No, but let me try one out." So I ended up taking 2 one semester, and I absolutely loved it. So then I changed my major to Human Development and Family Studies. I didn't necessarily know that I wanted to be a school counselor when I started that, but doing some research and careers that you can do with that degree, I decided I was going to reach out to my high school counselor and do an interview with her, and doing that really kind of solidified, I think I want to work with high school students, and I think I want to be a school counselor. My school counselor in high school, I absolutely loved her, and when I told her I wanted to do actuarial science, she actually looked at me and said, are you sure? So she knew before I even knew that wasn't for me, but just talking to her really made me want to bring that back to other students too. So
that's awesome. Switching over to kind of our advice section of this, what do you think the biggest stressor when applying for college is for students, and how do you combat that stressor?
I think the biggest stressor for most of our students is just deciding which colleges to apply to. There's so many colleges out there, and not everybody wants to go to the same schools, but you hear the same names, the same schools from a lot of different kids. So some kids feel like they have to apply to certain schools. Some kids feel like they have to apply to a certain prestige of a school, and trying to narrow down that list of schools can be really difficult for kids. I think that's a major stressor, and also just the whole application process itself. We try to make it as easy as possible for you all, but it is super stressful, and a lot of students are like, this is the rest of my life, and we're here to help you through that, so we try to make it as easy on you as possible.
And what do you recommend students to be doing right now in their application process?
My biggest word of advice would be to stay organized. And if you don't know how to be organized with all of this stuff, ask your school counselor how you can keep everything together. I'm a big spreadsheet gal, and I say that to pretty much every one of my students. So whatever way you can organize your stuff to make sure you get everything on time, that's my biggest word of advice. If it's having a spreadsheet, a Word document, or just sticky notes on your computer, whatever works best for you, make sure that you're keeping everything organized.
And how do you know if a school, college is right for you?
So my biggest word of advice when it comes to figuring out what colleges are for you is to tour the school. I was actually telling a student this the other day. I toured UConn and Assumption on the same day when I was in high school, which is actually pretty funny that I ended up going to both. But when I walked onto Assumption's campus, I immediately knew that that wasn't where I wanted to be for my undergrad. It was too small for me. I could walk across the campus in 2 seconds, and it just didn't feel right. But then when I went to UConn, it was a whole different story. I felt at home there. There were students running around, well, not really running, but walking around. They were having a great time, and it felt like a very awesome community that I wanted to be a part of. And so my advice is to go to campuses and tour them, because the feel of a campus is so important. There's nothing worse than getting to a school thinking you're gonna love it, and you get there and the vibe is so off for you. And then also just making sure that they have programs that you're interested in. You don't want to, if you're thinking about going into medicine, you don't want to have a school that doesn't have any sort of medical help, I guess. So if there's a pre-medical program or a pre-med society, you want that stuff there so that it can help you progress your future. And then also just making sure that there's clubs and organizations that you really like there. I know that you can kind of start anything, but colleges have so many different opportunities for students, and you want to just make sure that it has the opportunities that you want.
Alrighty, so now